The twilight of Hatti is near. Famine, rebellions, and wars. Things are not looking good, but even in the grim darkness of the Bronze Age, there is hope. Talmi-Teshub, the crown prince of Carchemish, gathers his armies for war. Will Hatti rise again, or will a new empire be forged with our own blood? We're at the crossroads of the Middle East. We can go to Mesopotamia, Canaan, Anatolia. I hate making choices! We're just gonna make a little coin flip. Okay, looks like it's east. Talmi-Teshub, our ruler, is born to spill blood, but I think he should spill something else. You see, if we want to cement our princely royal legacy, we need a fitting bride. This one's a bit too vanilla, but this princess looks really freaky. Dude, this one's gotta know the Palisade piledriver, reverse chariot girl, or Egyptian prison guard? Yeah, you know what, I'm done with this, she's a freak. Say hello to your new queen. It's time to celebrate the only way we know how. With a battle, of course. As our brave king marches to confront the Hurrians, let's talk a little bit about Carchemish. So, it was an extremely important trading hub, with a glorious history well before the Hittites took rule. Different Amoritic, Northern Syrians, Hurrians, and Akkadians called this place home. It was ruled by Amorites back in the Middle Bronze Age, and for a while we don't hear about the city. But eventually it's conquered by the Mitanni, the arch-rival of both Hatti and Egypt for a time. Most scholars agree that the Mitanni were Indo-Aryan elites ruling over a native Hurrian populace because of their personal names. And with them, they brought the biggest innovation in Bronze Age warfare. The Marianu, the brave chariot warriors whose tactics would be adopted and refined by all the great powers around them. With the Hittite conquest of the city by Shupiluluma I, a crown prince was installed and it became Hatti's eastern bulwark. The Hurrians, which lived across much of the Middle East, left their cultural influence with all the people, but especially the Hittites. Gods, personal names, amongst other things, like Teshub. That was the equivalent of the Hittite storm god Tarhuna. Many Hittites had second, Hurrian names, like our prince here, Talmi-Teshub. The city survived the Bronze Age collapse, and the rulers consider themselves as the legitimate successors of Hattusha. At times, it was a great power, and at other times it could only project smaller regional power. Eventually, they were forced to submit tribute to the Neo-Assyrian Empire, before the populace got the Assyrian special in the 8th century BC, aka mass deportation across the empire, and it got resettled by the Assyrians. This is the most well-known Neo-Hittite kingdom, and had fate been a little bit different, it could have had a much greater impact on history. But that's why we're here to change it. When we get these Alamu archers out of the way, we're gonna move our light Syrians behind the enemy lines. Now, our Canaanite shield bearers, they're just monstrous tanks, right? And the recruits are not really high DPS. Luckily, getting our archers behind the enemy with direct shot, yeah, it's about time we just deleted the entire enemy backline with some of these archer backshots. If they would only decide to get into the right angle. Light Syrians just look so drip. Their robes were copied from Egyptian tombs, so this unit actually looks extremely accurate. You can say what you want about Pharaoh and about some ridiculous unit appearances, but at least they got the Syrians completely right. Meanwhile, a clash of ages is happening in the middle. Hittites, Arameans, which have just been made to run off the field. The brave sons of Hatti and our Canaanite servants fight, but the Hurrians are about to leave the battlefield in a hurry, as their souls depart for the underworld. That's what you get for being conquered, nerds! Ah yes, building time, my favorite. We could totally go for some figs and growth, but no, we're going to war, son! Get the men ready! Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. As a prince of Hatti, we not only have studied the blade, but the art of commerce as well, or better said, extortion. All this newfound wealth goes to the noblest pursuit of all, war. I mean, what else were you thinking? So we marched to siege Eridu, once a city of our ancient Mitanni rivals, which had been destroyed by the Assyrians. They took the bait and march out to meet us, but I'm kinda scared because they have better infantry than we do. It's almost like they copied the Hittite army. But Talmi-Teshub is a military genius. How could he lose to some mole dude? Look at all this wheat in the chariots. Like, imagine putting scythes on them and boom, you got an easy way to harvest this. I mean, I just broke the technological timeline, but wait, what am I even talking about? So, Talmi-Teshub is in a little bit of a tough situation. The enemy's got better infantry, but we've got the Canaanite shield wall. These guys, they're cheap, gigantic shields. Pretty good hairline, by the way. They're gonna hold out against anything in their price range and a little bit above. So, we're gonna be baiting in the woods, and we want to make Talmi-Teshub look helpless. That's why we have our secret weapon. Dirt cheap javelins. Canaanite ambushers, my favorite. Now, these guys are so good. The Canaanite skirmishers have an ability which makes them invisible. Let's ignore that they're right now hidden in the long grass. They can be invisible at any terrain. But they also got spear in the spokes. Now look at Zuzuli. He's alive and healthy. And after a little javelin spray, that chariot over there, that's just scrap metal, baby. That guy got assassinated like we put Agent 47 after him. Alright, so the bait worked flawlessly. Their general is just... I don't even know what to say. He's dead. Deader than dead. But the Luwians are still coming at us here, and the Hittite axemen. At least we're in shield wall, so the reinforcements, by the time they reach us, the Luwians are gonna be ground into dust. Just look at that. They're raising the shield just to protect from arrows. It looks so weird, but if it works, it works. The clubmen are not gonna engage, and I can comfortably put my skirmishers in melee against the Luwians, but that's gonna be one unit. I think I want to say hi, or better said, hey guys, can I ask you a question? Okay, yeah, I'm terrible, I know. But we can't let the East One axemen just be like that. Let's try to get rid of the archers as well, spam some attack orders to make the chariots move easier. Okay, God, they look so beautiful. Wait, why are you turning around? Did you forget something? Okay, so because of the pathfinding, they just decided to get stuck in the unit. Alright, at least we shattered that unit. We can fire and get the Luwian swordsmen hit in the rear, which can just smash into the rear of the Luwians. Crush them underfoot. Well, trample them under hoof, better said, but you're trying to understand what I'm saying here, ain't you? Alright, so Talmi-Teshub had his fun, but he's about to get smoked. Let's just get him away from the archers. We had our fun. Now we actually have to start bordering and outflanking the enemy army. The skirmishers they're just doing so much damage to anything they touch. You saw how fast they killed the enemy general, but they've also got swords, so they can fight pretty decently in close combat against low-tier troops, or when flanking. The Canaanite clubmen are... let's just call it one way. The recruits are terrible. But at least they're extra meat. Now, Talmi-Teshub decided to turn his tail and run, unfortunately, but let's pretend he didn't do that. Our javelins are gonna charge into the Aramean tribesmen. Now, this might sound stupid, but the tribesmen are still not the strongest unit, so the javelins are actually gonna win this, considering they're experienced. And come on, the might of the Hittite, Hurrian, and I don't know what other Pokemon gods the Hittites collected is on our side as the weather turns dark, and Teshub, the mighty Hurrian Lord of Storms, is on our side as the sky darkens. Stop getting conquered, you bunch of nerds. You're supposed to serve the Hittites. Again. Now that Eridu is under rightful Hittite ownership, we'll rebuild it to its former glory. The towns of Kizuwadna have been raided and destroyed without a single sign of the enemy. We're gonna send an expeditionary force to reoccupy the land, and that's gonna put us in direct contact with the court. Yeah, that's I know it's pretty stupid. Come on, I'm literally a crown prince. Now, Talmi-Teshub takes office as Hatti, which lets us brown-nose the entire court for our political agenda. And prepare for some assassinations in the long run. Why don't you two have any kids yet? You're both freaks! Are you importing Silphium? Point of view, Hatti, the land of 1,000 gods. Another coin flip, and we settle on Kumarbi, the father of the Hurrian gods. But for now, until the Hittite ADHD kicks in. Turns out the man responsible for the destruction in Kizzuwatna is a homeless-looking Owen Wilson.
You Hittites seem to hate each other as much as I hate you. Impressive.
Well, he's not wrong. After some diplomacy with this washed-up Californian addict, our coastline is safe. For now. Another battle, another city reclaimed for the glory of Hatti. Can somebody explain how does his head pop out when you stick him in the gut? Let's just say fate hasn't been kind to our washed-up Ankh Shupiluluma, so he wants to adopt us into the royal dynasty. So many great kings have ruled from Hattusha, yet poor Shumpalumpa has no deeds of note. At least history will remember me, Talmi-Teshub. Even the gods have blessed our newly acquired land, making it fertile and moist. Let's celebrate by raiding our hated Melidian neighbors and conquering what's left of the wild Hurrians. This puts us in contact with Assyria, and the heartland of old Mitanni, now ruled by Ninurta Apalekur. Don't you just love politics? Now we're gonna continue brown-nosing the suddenly depleted Hittite court, before we switch to the position of High Judge. I promise, it's not about the bribes, it's not about the nepotism. I'm not saying Hittites are the Balkans of the Bronze Age, but... Okay, we already know where this is going. A distinguished noble hired bodyguards to seize his adversary's land but neglected to deliver their payment. So they claimed it instead by carving his body from his head and then... Hey, you know what? Ain't nobody got time for this. No, all sales are final, no refunds. We have the battle of our lifetimes here, as Talmi-Teshub keeps reconquering lost land of Hatti. Well, it's Hurrian and Mitanni land to be more precise, but when you have it once, you kinda wanna keep coming back like a big Hittite Goth GF. Yeah, you know where I was going with this. Isn't this just a beautiful day to have your chariot out? Just go for a ride in the park. Well, it's not like a ride. It's more like a roadkill moment because we have an entire swarm of Isuan militia here just to demolish. Poor guys marched all the way from Anatolia just to get trampled under hoof and wheel. Just look at that brutality. Now, that is an entire stack. But we also have another enemy army. A higher quality army. So we're gonna put our spearmen, we're gonna make a little Thermopylae there with our shield walls, while we try to beat the Asuan spam here. Our chariots are just going through the main line, though I've given them a lot of attack orders. I'm surprised they haven't broken through yet. The density isn't that high, but the Asuans are routing already, so that's good enough for us. Let's give some more orders and pray to the gods that they'll actually obey this time. I agree, show no mercy. Now, you might think it's doomed, but here's the secret weapons. Canaanite javelins, as always. When you have them, you gotta abuse them. And now we're gonna put the spearmen into shield wall. We're gonna let the enemy crash against us, like a wave, but we're gonna hold firm like a rock. Dude, why am I being so poetic about this? I don't even get it. Our general is just gonna have to try to mop up the mess over there as fast as he can. And now we're gonna enjoy the Canaanite shield bearers standing tall in the wheat, getting charged by Luvian swords, Hittite axemen. The Hurrians really hate us, and we're shot at by Hittite archers, which are actually pretty good, believe it or not. Just like in real life, but you'll be hearing about this soon in a documentary. Anyway, this is perfect. Now we can actually use the Carchemish spec ops to take out the back line. Now that the Asuans have been utterly humiliated, crushed, trampled, bludgeoned, and most importantly, asked a few questions. Ah, I love cricket noises, but it does look so beautiful. The brutality of it all. Now, it's not looking the best here. My spearmen still can't even come close to Isuan axemen. And they're getting shot at as well by the Hittites. But now is the perfect time. While we're still engaging their blobbed up front line in the Thermopylae. I don't even know where I come up with this stuff, I swear to God. Carchemish Thermopylae, yeah. Now we're gonna shoot in the rear. We're gonna unload all our ammunition over the enemy. They're gonna enjoy these back shots from the archers and the javelins. And you can just see them melt away by the banner. And why do they have Humbaba as a banner? This is not a Mesopotamian faction. This makes no sense. Okay, these ones are absolutely demolished. It's just taken a while to kill them with the axemen. But by the time our axemen would even reach the Thermopylae section of the battle, it would be over. And here, I'm still kind of glad to let their archers fire on a dirt cheap Jav unit, because my dirt cheap units are taking out their main win condition. The Isuans could unironically chop through my axe line had I not played it like this, because I dedicated all my good infantry to deal with the full stack of Isuans over there. They're essentially decommissioned now. We're just gonna do another drive-by just to assert our dominance. The pure Hittite testosterone just coming through. And now I think it's time for the general to actually come and join the most important part of the battle. Though you could argue that, defending your small line against the full stack is more important. Now that our javelins did their assassinating, now we can actually use them for a rear charge. And just look how awesome they are with the Carchemish color scheme. Also awesome in melee, because there's very few skirmishers in Pharaoh that are bad when you rear charge. Because for some reason they almost all have special weapons. It's not like the older Total Wars where you're very, very occasionally going to find effective hybrid skirmishers. Now we're sending the Hurrian general to the grave. For some reason, they've got stones. We've got axes. You might try to break our bones, but we're gonna cleave you. And now the general is gonna go into the shattered Isuan axes. This unit is just... I don't even know what to say. It was the most broken thing in existence for its price before dynasties. Now it's like still good, but we don't want it to actually hurt us. Let's just make sure they're dead. And now we're facing off against the Hittites in direct fire with our archers. This is actually hilarious that we're able to slaughter them like that, and I can't believe our line just didn't break. But we did blob them up perfectly. We countercharged with the Alamu. They just got shot from the rear and it's pretty much game over. What else did they think to achieve? Now we have the light Syrians in direct shot in front of the much better Hittites. These guys have got a lot of armor, okay? But because of better use, just look at them. They're dripped out, but they're also dripping blood and dropping on the floor because our archers have direct mode on, so the Hittites can't do anything to us. Even if they manage to kill some of us, because we're basically wearing bathrobes in comparison to armor, but we've managed to win the Thermopylae battle. The future belongs to Carchemish. After that glorious victory, the barbarians are willing to trade, or essentially pay tribute to avoid the same fate. Smart, I'd say. But the Assyrians have got a wrong idea, so to war we go. To say that we've snowballed would be a huge understatement. I mean, look how huge we are, in such a short time span as well. Well, the bigger the better, so this small Assyrian garrison just poses no threat to our Hittite might. Wait, what are these guys doing in Carchemish? They marched from Babylon. Are you seeing this? What is this auto-resolve? Alright, are you really expecting me to fight this? You want to know how this battle is going? Great, all my infantry that can go into shield wall is just chilling, and you can imagine that the axemen are slaughtering the peasants. This has to be some sort of coming-of-age ritual for the Acadians, you know, just randomly send peasants across the world, see who gets slaughtered, see who survives, and the survivors are gonna work the fields if they make it back home. Well, I'll gladly send them to the underworld if that's gonna be their new home, and luckily the Hittites are so well protected. Yeah, you know, stay safe, the #1 rule. Farming implements just can't really hurt me. Well, that was one interesting choice in a long line of bad AI decisions. As we march to confront the Assyrians, Anatolia falls to more infighting, and the Canaanites are rising against us. Things are looking grim, but remember, you never turn your back on family. I don't even know why I said that. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this first part of the Carchemish campaign. I definitely had fun playing it because Hittites are Hittites, and rewriting history is what we love to do. If you're feeling crazy enough to actually like this, you can always subscribe or even become a member, because there's a lot of goodies and a lot more stuff coming your way. Wacky videos, gameplay, documentaries. So until the next time...